Oh. 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 Sairam. Just to recollect where we were last week, Swami has taken us to uh, the Bhakti Yoga topic, and there were some discussions on, the Arjuna who had this Vishwarupa Darshana. Did he have Ananya Bhakti or not? I think that was the place where we left, and I thought we will continue from where we left off. I think we had to stop it somewhere before we could explore the topic fully. So I will stop here. If there's anyone who would like to share anything, please go ahead. Silence. So maybe I will just share, I think, just to summarize what to the top was. I think all of us had this challenge. If Arjuna got the Vishwarupa Darshana, what was special about it? Did he have Ananya Bhakti, or did he have Bhakti which is not yet Ananya Bhakti? And I think the overall impression I took away was that from many that just Arjuna had very deep devotion, but we are not in a position to say whether it was Ananya Bhakti or not. But there may be some room for him to cultivate something. So that's what it was. So I thought I will just add a couple of points which I thought I wanted to mention, but I did not that day. Which is, God's grace is always commensurate with where we are, even to a great extent. See, even to deserve a Vishwarupa Darshana, even for a few moments, I'm sure Arjuna would have deserved something. So he must have had some traces of Ananya Bhakti, for lack of a better term. But it may not be a permanent position. See, for example, we also may, at times, we feel so overwhelmed with devotion, we may feel our mind is all emotional and we think we are so devoted. But the problem is it does not last for too long. So if it does not last for long, then there's work to be done. I think we ourselves have been blessed by Swami to come and listen to his words. But the thing is that good enough? Maybe not. Maybe not, it is not. I think we have to work on it. So I think it was the same case with Arjuna. Arjuna was far ahead of all of us, because in the second or third chapter, Krishna is telling, you are not only my friend, you are the best friend I know, and you're more closer than anyone. Things like that Krishna has said. So Arjuna is very, very, very much up there. Maybe Krishna felt that he has to work on a little more to become Ananya Chinta. Because once you become Ananya Chinta, one will not think about anything. Even Arjuna's thought whether I should fight or I should not fight, all those questions will not even arise. So those were things which I thought I will share. But I think it's much more relevant for us to realize how devout are we? Are we able to think of Swami at all times? How do we get there? I think that's something which we all can inquire and try to practice. So those are my thoughts. I will stop here. If it has triggered anyone anything to share, please do so. Otherwise, I will ask the sisters to continue from where we left off.
Saramana.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, yes,
Brother
brother, we
Satish
can
wants
hear
to
you.
talk to you.
Sai Satish was asking.
Yeah, sorry. So I was just, I was wondering if Anna was hearing or everybody was hearing. I just wanted to add on this Ananya Bhakti, where if we see the setting of where this Ananya Bhakti is being questioned about Arjuna is in the battlefield. So for us, let us take a student who has to go to write an exam. We know the answer before going to the exam, but during the exam, when that question is posed, many times I've had my own experience, like where I forget the answer. I knew that answer, but when it comes during the exam time, the mind just blanks out. So when we are talking about this Ananya Bhakti, we are
Sairam, everyone, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
Anna.
I don't know, I
We
think
can
there's some
hear.
problem with my...
Are you able to hear us?
Yes. So I don't know whether, by way of introduction, I said something, maybe you heard it or not, I don't know.
Yeah,
We
heard.
heard you, but I think you didn't hear us.
Okay, thank you. So I don't know whether there was any thoughts anyone shared. If
No,
I missed.
Sai Satish is sharing.
Sairam, Sai Satish, go ahead.
Yes, I remember. I was just saying the Ananya Bhakti that is being asked about or talked about in connection with Arjuna is that Ananya Bhakti in the battlefield, which is very similar. I was just taking the example of a student who knows, he has read the syllabus, he's ready with all the answers, but that answer he has to remember during the examination. Many times I know the answer prior to entering the examination hall, but when I see that question, I knew this answer, but now I don't remember it, kind of a situation. So the Ananya Bhakti that is expected of Arjuna in the battlefield is when all around him is all pell-mell, people falling dead, and all that kind of a thing that is happening, he has to maintain his complete focus on Lord Krishna, that he is the one who is making it happen. So that is the extreme step of Ananya Bhakti, or where there is no other thing, where you see only Krishna and Krishna everywhere, which changes the perspective completely. So when we talk about Arjuna at that level, that is where the Gita and everything is only reinforcing that. If you look at Arjuna's life, there are many instances where Swami has talked about where every strand of Arjuna's hair would take, like how we tell about Hanuman, every hair chanting the name of Lord Rama, like that for Arjuna it would be of Lord Krishna. So for that person who is having that kind of devotion and who is the worthy recipient of Bhagavad Gita, obviously that is there. But the final examination is when anything and everything you see, even in the din of the battlefield, as his doing, that is complete surrender and complete Ananya Bhakti. So we should also see the level of the toughness of the question that is posed during the examination. It's not about just the rudimentary aspect, but the highest level of acceptance that Lord Krishna alone is the doer. So we should also give due benefit to the background to where that question is being asked. Sairam.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Thank you. So if there's no other thought, I think we were discussing only the first paragraph, I think, last time.
Yes, Uncle, just in the first paragraph, Swami had mentioned yajna and yaga as part of the first sentence or so. Like, even if you do these things, you will not obtain the vision. I was just wondering, is there a difference between yajna and yaga?
Yeah, I think people have asked me this question, Kalyani, but I have not been able to find myself a reference. They are interchangeably used, I guess, in common. There may be some subtle difference. I don't know of any. If anyone else knows, can share, please.
For example, Arun Sairam,
Sairam, auntie.
when Dasharatha did that Putra Kameshti Yaga, it was not called Yagna. It was called yaga. Maybe my surmise is with a desire, if you do some kind of this offering to the Lord, it is yaga. Yagna is for the welfare of the whole society.
I see.
I feel so. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Okay. Thank you, Auntie. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe you people, if somebody knows about it, they will definitely add to it.
We'll have to do some more research, but I think it was a good explanation, Auntie. For now, we'll keep it until we find something better. Siren, thank you, Auntie.
And when we talk about Ananya Chintana, is it that, every thought that you think is of Swami or of God? Or is it that every thought that you get, you recognize that as God, like even if it's a thought about something else?
Yeah, very good question, Kalyani. Kalyani is asking, is Ananya Chintana, is every thought should it think of Krishna? Or does it mean that? Is that the right question? Is that the question, Kalyani?
Yes.
So any thought which arises, should it be about Krishna? That's the question which Kalyani has asked. So I will pose the question to everyone. Yes, Auntie, Sakku Auntie.
Yeah. 24/7, you should have his thoughts in your mind, and whatever you're doing, they are also, you offer it and do with divine devotion. That's what you cannot be part-time think of Krishna and not to think at the time you're busy like that, but at the back of your mind, your thoughts and words should be always with Krishna. This is what I understood. Thank you.
Thank you, Auntie. Thank you. Anyone else?
Ramana, I'll just try my piece. So we have this story of Radha following Lord Krishna, and as she is following Lord Krishna, she's a little behind, and she sees, as Krishna is climbing a hill, she's able to see him, and as he walks down from the hill into the valley, she loses sight of him. And they say that when people see those places where Radha tread, when she saw Krishna versus where she didn't see Krishna, the places where she didn't see Krishna were literally burnt. They were scorched because of that separation of not being able to see him for those few moments. So the ultimate thing is, whether we call him Chitta Chora kind of a thing, the mind, the ultimate stage is, it leads to a level of amanaska, where the mind doesn't exist because the Lord has taken away the mind. Basically, it is with, whether you say Swami or Krishna or Rama, it is, there's no other thought or feeling or bhava that exists other than the Lord. While that is the culmination, the beginning part starts with offering every thought to the Lord. So it is like how we go from primary to tertiary level of education. The primary level being we train as and when every thought comes, Sarvam Sai Ishwararpanamastu. We keep offering it to the Lord. Anything comes, offer it to the Lord. Anything comes, offer it to us. So much so at the end that only the Lord remains, which becomes Ananya Bhakti. So I see that as a journey and culminating where only thoughts of the Lord remain. So much so there is nothing of the small I, only the capital I exists.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Anyone else would like to? I don't know whether everyone is in an Ananya Bhava. But...
Sairam,
yes, yes, sister.
For Sister Kalyani's question, whether we have to all the time, Iradi, think about Lord Krishna, or maybe we have to chanting Lord Krishna's name all the time. Maybe I don't know whether I remember that from this study circle or maybe in one of the Swami's excerpts in the Sanskrit. We learned from that one of the sages, that could be either Vyasa or someone else, maybe some disciples came. Vyasa was eating something, and but sage Vyasa said that, I am fasting, so whatever I am telling, you can cross the river or something. But the disciple asked, we have seen you, you are eating, how come you can tell, you are fasting? And the sage Vyasa said that, I'm not eating, I am feeding the Lord within me. That means that I don't eat, only God eats. That sort of thing, when I think about that one, even we could do anything and everything, but offering to the God, this is my offering. Any action we can do, as long as in our thought, word, and deed, we are offering that code, that the offering that action, word, thought, and to the God, then that would be kind of the Ananya Chintana. Every little things we do, that would be an offering. So when we offer, certainly our all will be going to the God, and at least without knowing or unknowingly, it would be an offering to God. So maybe that is the practically that would be possible. Otherwise, when we work, how it would be possible to chant all the time? But when we do the work, we will be thinking that to the best of my ability and the knowledge, I am offering this, the part to Swami or to the Lord. Maybe that sort of thinking I am getting from this one. You do anything and everything, but offer to the God, that would get into the Ananya Chindana. Maybe, thank you, Sairam. Maybe that's my little thought on this one.
Thank you very much, sister.
Sairam,
Teacher.
yesterday, when you were teaching Purusa Suktam, you brought this story, Vyasa's story. I just want to remind Anandi. It's yesterday's class. Vaishvarna Ro.
Yeah, that was sticking in my mind all the time. Even we think that we do something, but even if I eat or something, that goes to the God, not for me, kind of. That's why I wanted to brought that point. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, Auntie. Anyone else has something to share? Yeah. I think as Sai Satish also said, as Ananthi also said, the reality is to get to that point, we have to do whatever we can by offering to the Lord, or think of the Lord as often as possible. But ultimately, once you have a thought of God, there's no need for multiple thoughts. I think Sai Satish used the word amanaska also. So if the mind is thinking of thoughts, we really can't even be sure what it will think of. So once that one thought comes and it sticks forever, then it becomes Ananya. So then you can ask, I think Swami gives a story, I don't know whether here, or maybe that's also yesterday's, from the excerpt. Swami says, one of the village women goes to take water from the river with a pot. And while she goes, she fills the pot with water, puts it on top of her head, and she's walking back, talking to everyone. And sometimes she'll be fighting with others also. But through all this, she will never forget the water on her head. So that is Ananya. The thing is, even though other thoughts come to the surface, they will not take away the main thought with which she is stuck. So that's all we can do at this point in time as we live. We should never let go of that thought that we are carrying the water on our head. So the moment we think of that, the pot will fall and the water will spill. So I think that's all we can do at this point in time, where we are, I guess. But I think ultimately the real Ananya is, you won't think of the water, you won't think of the pot, you won't think of the other person. You'll only think of the Lord. And that one thought which comes may never go anywhere. So that's the way I see, based on whatever others have shared. That's sort of understood. Yes, Brother Thasan.
Yeah, Sairam brother. There's another story we mentioned about this one before too. The baby's at home, but the mother is going to get the water from the well. When she's coming back, she can talk to other people and she can fight with anyone, but the concentration is going to be with the baby because she has to come. There's no babysitter. So same way, when we are doing the Ananya Bhakti, all our five senses, not one part, all five senses supposed to be focused to the Lord's thing. Even the mind thought too. Thank you, Sai Ram.
Sai Ram, thank you. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Brother, in Ananya Bhakti, do you think at that stage they will think that they are thinking the Lord even? I'm just thinking to myself, I don't think so.
Yeah, means then you're thinking of the Lord, then you're stopping, then you're thinking about yourself, then you're thinking of the Lord again.
Brother, what is really an Ananya Chinte or Ananya Bhakti? Will they, I don't know whether they are just thinking of I don't know. I'm just trying to understand. At that stage, I know at that stage you won't see anything except yourself, one with the God, right? So you won't think only the Krishna. That means you're still some distraction only. You are trying to align your mind to that point, right? But when you reach to that level, I don't think you are even thinking the God name. Even you will be in a different state of mind. That's how I look at it, and Bhakti. Thank you, Sairam.
Thank you, sister. I think one way to test, sister, Swami tells a story of Suguna.
Yeah.
Suguna, who came to light the lamp at Nanda's house, and while lighting the lamp, her hand started burning, but she was not even aware of that, and she was only seeing Krishna. So I think, as if you want to test whether we have, you can on the stove and just put a hand and check.
We'll call out Amma Appa instead of Krishna.
So I think that's a good example of Ananya Bhakti, because she didn't know the flame, she didn't know the finger, she didn't know anything. She only was thinking. She was just lost in the thought of Krishna. Sairam. Auntie Saku, please go ahead.
Yes, Sairam. Aruna was asking whether there will be even a thought of God in your, whether you will be having experience of God, but actually you have to have God's experience. That's what now Sai Sadis was saying. Once you start slowly offering everything and getting in the time, after some time, you will start experiencing. That experience will become more intense, and then you will be one with the experience and one with God, like how Suguna saw Krishna in the flame. She didn't have any thought of her own body. So that's how. So this is my explanation to Aruna's question. Thank you.
So, that in that case, as long as you don't have any body conscious, only the thought of Lord is there, that is Ananya Bhakti. Like that we can, yeah, that's my understanding from that story and the context.
Sai Ram, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so we also have a test also to check whether we have reached there. So we will proceed. Is it okay, sisters? Maybe we can read the second paragraph once, and then maybe we'll read the Telugu, and then we will discuss.
Okay, Sairam. Arjuna asked with a smile and a little tremor of the lips, Lord, I realize that you are pleased with undeviating single-pointed devotion. But are you pleased with the worship of you with the form or you without the form? Do you prefer Sakara Upasana or Nirakara Upasana? Which melts you more and contributes to success in getting your blessings? Which is the easier for the sadhaka and more welcomed by you? Please tell me. Should I go on reading, Anna, or?
I think we'll stop here.
Okay.
Auntie, you can read Telugu, I think.
Yeah, okay. అర్జునుని చిరునవ్వులు ముఖమున చిందులాడ పెదములు కదిలించుచు స్వామి అనన్య భక్తి మీకు అతి ప్రీతి అని తెలిసినది.
Arjuna, with a smile on his face or mouth, and with lips trembling, he asked, "Oh Swami, oh Lord, I understand that for you, Ananya Bhakti is very, very dear."
అయితే సాకారోపాసన నిన్ను తృప్తిపరచునా లేక నిరాకార ఉపాసన నిన్ను కరిగించునా? ఈ రెండిట్లో ఏది సాధకులకు సర్వేశ్వరుడైన మీ సులభ ప్రసన్నత చేకూర్చును?
Arjuna is asking, but is Sakara Upasana, that is the form, the worship of the form, does it satisfy you, or does the worship of the formless make your heart melt?
Yeah. ఇందులో ఏది
in these two, what for sadhakas, for the Supreme Lord you are, how will you easily be pleased?
Yeah. ఇందులో ఏది సృష్టమో సెలవిమ్మో అన్నాడు.
Please tell me which is the supreme better one, best one.
So here Sakara Upasana and Nirakara Upasana, both are the words.
So I don't know whether anyone wants to discuss this, or we read one more paragraph.
Do you know what emotion it's referring to when it says Arjuna has a smile on his lips, but his lips are trembling?
Yeah.
What would be the emotion of Arjuna?
Okay.
What was the emotional state of Arjuna is what Kalyani is asking. So does anyone have? Yeah. What do you all think?
He was overwhelmed with joy, I think. Both the emotion is coming out with a smile as well as a little tremor of the lips.
I also feel it was an over, he was so happy. He's almost got the answer for, his question, what he should do. So I think he was just overwhelmed and so happy, so joyous.
Maybe,
But
maybe with hesitation, the tremor of lips. Is it because of that?
Yeah, I think the last. Yeah, I think, but Krishna is. Why should he hesitate with Krishna? Is a Baba.
Baba.
It's very close. He asked so many questions so far. So I think.
But again and again, he is asking questions so that
I know.
the questions are, he is asking one after the other.
So I think Brother Lord said that he is happy with Ananya Bhakti. Then Lord Krishna, then Arjuna was asking, then what kind of form you like then? Then he was, yeah, thank you.
Correct.
And Anna, I think after having Vishwarupa Darshan, the life is not the same again. So he would have had Krishna as his Baba, but then suddenly he realizes this is all compassing thing. So you have the smile and all of that, but then you also know you are in the presence of the absolute. And so that feeling, like now when you're with Swami, we know, and Swami has given the glimpse of who he really is. Now, even as I smile, I know I'm in awe of that presence. And so that reverence, which is like how we cover our lips and speak, that kind of a thing just sets in. That's what I'm seeing. But he has received it all. He knows that at the same time he has the kinship, but in front of him is the Almighty. So that kind of little tremor gives that thing that he's in awe of what he has seen, and yet that form is there right in front of him.
Thank you, Sir. I think while reading this, I was just reminded of the question: was Arjuna Ananya? But he had bhakti. But can you believe someone in the war, the war is about to begin? He was crying initially, but now here's an Arjuna. He's just forgotten completely about the war. He's asking a question about what bhakti do you like? He has completely forgotten everything. I was quite, amazed by that. He's not thinking, oh, the war is going to start. All that thought is gone. He's taking his own time trying to understand what is bhakti, what is nirakara bhakti, what is sakara. So he's gone to that state. It is just unbelievable how somebody can just forget everything. And I think for him, only Krishna was there at that point in time. He just wanted to talk to him.
Brother, I interpreted this way. Maybe the Brother Sai Satish also, he has touched on that part too. Until now, this is almost into in the Geetha Upadesam. And he gradually started with the step number 1 and all the way go. And suddenly, at the end, he brought that sort of question again. I thought he has seen in the Vishwarupa, and suddenly the Lord Krishna has come to his own, the normal Rupa, the friendly and, the Mitra Rupa. And if someone is very closer to us, then only we will ask freely all those questions. What do you think? Is it good? Is it bad? Do you think which one is best suited to me? All kind of very intimate questions. When you get into the same level, you and me are the same level, at the time only you will freely ask all those questions. After all the Vishwarupa Tarshana, and the Lord Krishna came back because Arjuna asked, please come to the previous form. I will feel the more I can have the conversation freely to you or something, or I would like to see even the previous form. Maybe at the time, very freely he is asking, they don't give me hard time which way to go. You tell me the easiest way. Which one is you really like it? Even before we make something, very friendly person coming, we will ask which one you really like it. I will do that rather than making all those things. Maybe that sort of very friendly atmosphere. He asked this question, even Sister Kalyani asked what would be the meaning of little tremor. I thought sometimes we would express, I am speechless, no words to express, we would be, they trying to tell something, but the words, it wouldn't come to express our feelings. Maybe that sort of situation, he has asked all these questions. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, sister. Thank you. Any other thoughts? Okay, why don't we read further, I think, next paragraph also.
Krishna was happy that this question was asked. He said, Arjuna, I do not make any distinction between the two. I am pleased. However, I am worshipped, provided the mind is saturated with me and there is steady faith in every act, word, and thought. Arjuna intercepted with the query, Krishna, are mere purity of heart and steady faith enough? Do not sex or status as fixed by caste or the stage of life form obstacles to success? Krishna chided Arjuna and replied, I am surprised that you should ask such questions after going through all this experience. Do you not realize that for those who have fixed their minds on God, who have reposed in me, the personification of truth, eternal and pure, there will not be an iota of identification of the self with the body, Deha Bhranti? If they have still the awareness of sex or caste or stage of life with all the attendant pride, humility, etc., it only reveals they have not surrendered their minds to God. For those who have rid themselves of attachment of the body, there will not be the distraction of caste, status, etc.
Okay.
Sairam, you can read.
Yeah. So, Swami అందుకు ప్రసన్న చిత్తుడై ఇట్లు వచించెను.
When Krishna, with a smiling face, a pleasant, happy face, said thus.
Swami అందుకు Swami said this.
Okay.
అర్జున, ఈ రెండిటి యందును నాకే మాత్రము భేదము లేదు.
Arjuna, in these two, I do not have any differentiation. No difference.
రెండును ఒక్కటియే.
Both are the same.
కావలసినది చిత్తము భగవదాయత్తమయ్యుండుట.
So, what is really required is the chitta, the mind, should be completely
భగవదాయత్తమై.
And the ayatam, in Tamil we will say getting ready, but I don't know what.
ఆయతవాన్ భవతి. అంద ఆయతం అంటుకుమా.
Ayatamai, I will just check.
భగవద్ ఆయత్తమై ఉండుట. Completely immersed in.
Ayatamu means
Hmm.
readiness, preparation, inclined or submitting.
Yeah, inclined to Swami.
So it's dependent is also another meaning. So basically, the mind will be completely dependent and engrossed in the Lord.
Engrossed in the Lord. పవిత్రమైన శ్రద్ధతో ఎట్లు ఆరాధించినేను నేను ప్రసన్నుడవుదును.
So if there is Shraddha, if there is pure and divine Shraddha, unwavering faith and concentration, effort, however you worship me, I will be pleased.
కృష్ణ చిత్తశుద్ధి కలిగి ఉండిన చాలా, దీనికి లింగ భేదము కానీ ఆశ్రమ భేదము కానీ వర్ణ భేదము కానీ అడ్డు రావా?
Krishna is Chitta Suddhi alone is sufficient. Isn't the gender differences or ashrama, that is the life stage differences, or varna differences, the four varnas differences, don't they come in the way?
Yeah. బావా అన్నియూ అనుభవించి తిరిగి నీకే సంశయం ఎట్లు కలిగినది?
Krishna is telling, oh my brother-in-law, all the you have experienced everything. Now once again you are having doubts. How did that happen?
సర్వము ఈశ్వరార్పణ చేసి మనస్సును భగవంతుని యందు లగ్నపరిచి నిత్య సత్య నిర్మలమైన నాయందు చిత్తమ ఉంచు వారికి దేహభ్రాంతి ఎట్లుండును?
So everything is offered to the Lord. By offering everything to the Lord, the mind is completely merged with the focus on the Lord, and the chittam is completely which chitta is placed on the Lord, who is blemishless and always permanent, and he is the true one. How can these people, such people, get the thoughts of body conscious?
ఒకవేళ దేహభ్రాంతి ఉండిన అది సంపూర్ణ ఈశ్వరార్పణ కాదు.
If there is the delusion of the body, if it exists, then Ishwararpana is the offering to the Lord is not complete.
దేహభ్రాంతి లేని వారులకు ఆశ్రమ వర్ణ లింగ భేదములు ఉండవు కదా.
For people who are deluded by the body, for them, no.
దేహభ్రాంతి లేని వారికి,
people who do not have the
body
delusion, for them there is no differences between ashrama, which is stage of life, varna, the caste, or and that's the translation used normally, varna, and the linga, gender differences.
భగవంతుని యందు మనస్సు నిలుపుటకును భగవంతుని చేరుటకును చిత్తశుద్ధితో ఉపాసన సలుపుటకు ఆశ్రమ వర్ణ ధర్మములు అడ్డుతుగులవు.
So for the purpose of establishing the mind on the Lord, or to reach the Lord, the worship with Chittasuddhi, to perform the worship with Chittasuddhi, ashramas, varna, these do not come in the way. Dharma related to ashrama and varna do not come in the way. They don't be obstacles.
అడ్డుతగులవు. భగవంతుని యందు మనస్సు నిలుపుటకును భగవంతుని చేరుటకును చిత్తశుద్ధితో ఉపాసన సలుపుటకును ఆశ్రమ వర్ణ భేదములు అడ్డుతగులవు. It becomes an obstacle, is it?
Yeah, addu means auntie.
It becomes an obstacle. Addu.
Tadakrada madiri, you understand? Addu.
Addu tagu.
Impede, obstruction, obstacle. Adda means it's obstruction, obstacle.
Hmm.
Tagula means they will not become.
They will not become.
Yeah, they will not become.
దేహాత్మ భావము లోకాత్మ భావము కలవార్లకే వర్ణ ఆశ్రమ లింగ భేదములు.
Only those who have the body consciousness or world consciousness, or only for such people, there are differences of varna and ashrama and linga, which is gender, stage of life, and varna.
కనుక నీవు వాటి విషయంపై చింతించనక్కరలేదు అని పరమాత్ముడు అర్జునునకు తెలిపినాడు.
So, because of that, you do not think about the subject related to these. Thus, Krishna told Arjuna.
అందులకు అర్జునుడు, కృష్ణ, దేహాభిమానము లోకాభిమానము కలవార్లకు నిర్గుణోపాసన అంత సులభము కాదు కదా.
So then Arjuna says, "Oh Lord, for such people, Krishna, who have the body consciousness or worldly consciousness, then it will not want nirguna upasana, which is qualityless worship. It won't be easy for them."
సామాన్య మానవులు చేయు సగుణోపాసనచే అంతఃకరణ శుద్ధి అగుటకు వీలు లేదా.
So for the ordinary human beings, if they perform saguna upasana, that is worship with attributes, will the antakaranas, the inner instruments, will they become pure? Is it possible?
దయచేసి తెలుపు.
He said, "Please tell me so." I think in English, I think maybe a little more needs to be read, I think, to get to this point. I don't, we have read that, okay. Anyone would, Auntie Sakku Auntie, you have your hand up.
Yeah, no. I'm really a little confused. After the Vishwaroop Darshan, has Arjuna has lost his balance? Has he become imbalanced? Because all this Krishna has already told us. He's speaking about sex, but they Gopigal. All the gopis are ladies. Status, Anuman, all this caste, all this, he's asking all questions that is not, it has been already cleared by Krishna. He's talking, I think he has lost his balance of he's just asking questions. I was thinking, maybe that is the after effect of the Vishwaroop Darshan.
Sai Ramati, thank you.
I also think because of that, the very bright and power and everything, maybe his brain, it's like a brain stroke or something, temporary, and he's unable to get into his maybe the normal thought process or normal thinking. This is in between transitional period. So maybe we have to accept, even if he has confused, we shouldn't confuse because he was in that trauma situation. I think Sakanti wrote.
In the previous paragraph, Krishna was talking about Ananya Bhakti. When all of us are not able to reach that level of Ananya Bhakti, so what are the steps leading to Ananya Bhakti? Krishna is explaining, asking, Arjuna is asking on behalf of all of us. It's not that he has lost any sense or anything like that. He's asking on behalf of all of common people like us. Krishna, you said Ananya Bhakti is very dear to you. How can I do? Is it through Sagunapasana or Nirgunapasana? That's what the question Arjuna is asking. And like a common man, what he needs to know. Yeah. Sairam.
Thank you, Auntie. Anyone else would like to? Yes, Brother Dasan.
Yes, Sairam, brother. So according to Auntie is correct, because Lord said, I'm happy whoever doing the Ananya Bhakti. Then Arjuna's asking, then how can I worship then if I want to do the Ananya Bhakti? Is it form or formless? The Lord Krishna said both is same to me. But we have to understand the Lord is formless, but he came to this earth with a form for us. Because then for us, we supposed to, for initial stage, we supposed to have a form in order to concentrate. We cannot go suddenly formless, even though Lord is formless. So initial stage, form is very important. At the same time, when we are praying with the form, here the paragraph saying, don't have the body consciousness. When you have the body conscious only, then you are getting to the varnas. If your mind is pure, pure, there is no body consciousness. You can reach me. Thank you, Sairam, brother.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would like to share any thoughts?
Sairam.
Yes, Sai Satish.
After Sister.
Kalyani?
It's okay. I'm going to a different topic. Like,
Yeah, and I was just going to say, based on what Sakwanti had told, actually what Swami will be feeling about all of us as well. How many times did I tell? And these people still are doing the same thing again and again, kind of a scenario. So like now how we felt about Arjuna, that, oh my God, just now you got the Vishwarupa Darshan. How come you go back and ask these same questions? You have been asking this for so much time. So if we think from Swami's thing, how many times, like again, the same thing, help over, hurt never, or love all, serve all, or karma pala tyaga. And he's been doing it again and again across ages. But still, I do the same thing what I do. So when Auntie asked that question, just reminded like how it applies to me as well, which is an eye opener. Thank you, Saya.
Thank you, Sai Satish. I also thought, Arjuna is a very practical person. Okay, Krishna would have said, okay, you do think of me all the time. Then he said, oh my. Then he says, oh my, I am a Kshatriya, I'm here, I had to fight. I won't be able to think of you all the time. Then I had to go home and, wife and children are there. So one is a Varna, the other one is Ashrama. So what do I do? These people are all distractions. I am unable to think of you all the time. So he thinks that there are some practical difficulties. I think so. He's trying to see, okay, with these practical difficulties, what do I do? Because see, conceptually we all understand, but then if children ask something, then we suddenly start thinking about the children. The children come and complain. Then all thoughts of Krishna will go. We will be that will just take over. We had fight. Somebody is getting killed next to me. So Arjuna was worried about that. So under such circumstances, how do I think of you? So it will be difficult. That's what he's saying. There will be some bottlenecks, obstructions for me to have that kind of devotion. I think so. I think as Auntie said, for our benefit, he's asking. Because sometimes we think we understood. Somebody makes a statement, God is everywhere, God is all powerful, God knows. But then if we really believe, we will not tell anything to God. We will not ask anything from God. But we think we understand, but we are not practically experientially understood that. So Arjuna is a very experiential understanding guy. So I think so he's asking, I am running into some challenges. Maybe before when Vishwarupa Darshan ended, he must have started thinking about the war or home. He said, these people are becoming, maybe I should leave everyone and go take sannyasa. Again, he's coming to that kind of thinking. Okay, Kalyani, you had some question.
Yes. When it says prasanna chittude, you said a pleased face, or does it mean like chitta? When it says chittude, is it referring to chitta?
Yes. My understanding, prasanna means pleasant or happy. Okay, and chitta means your chitta is at the deepest level, you are happy. That's the way I understand.
Okay.
We'll ask Auntie. Auntie, is that
Pleased, that's all. With
pleased?
that single pointed devotion of Arjuna, he asking. So Arjuna, prasanna chittude, Krishna is happy.
And when it says in the next few lines, it says what is really required is that the chitta should be completely engrossed in the Lord or dependent on the Lord.
Yeah.
So we said before, chitta is like where all your impressions are stored, right? Like your vasanas and everything. So it's not even about our thoughts, because our thoughts are in the manas, right?
Hmm.
So it's like our chitta should be completely engrossed in the Lord. So that's almost something.
I think I'll read the Telugu for you. Swami anduku prasanna chittudai itlu vachinchanu. He said this. Arjuna, ఈ రెండిటి ఎందునో నాకే మాత్రము భేదం లేదు. There is no difference between the సాకార భక్తి and నిరాకార భక్తి. రెండును ఒకటే, they say. కావలసినది చిత్తము భగవదాయత్తమై ఉండుట. That's what is required. The whole chitta should be completely engrossed in Bhagavan. Bhagavad ayattamaiunduta. పవిత్రమైన శ్రద్ధతో ఎట్లు ఆరాధించినను నేను ప్రసన్నుడవును. With a heart that is pure. If you worship me, I am happy. I will be happy. ప్రసన్నుడవును. అవుదును. ప్రసన్నుడవుదును. It should be in Telugu.
Prasannadu avudunu. I think Sandhi.
It is a little mistake here. Prasannudavudunu. That would have been Prasannuda Naudunu. That's also okay. Prasannuda.
I think Prasannadu avudunu. I think Sandhi may have changed it. Yeah.
Prasannudu avudunu. Prasannuda Naudunu. Prasannuda Naudunu. Prasannudanu. அங்க நான் இருக்கீங்க. பிரசன்னுடனும் அவுதுனும்.
So Kalyani, your question is, chitta has all impressions. So then you're asking about this. See, chitta is a vessel which we have. Usually we fill it with impressions of other experiences. So that's a container where everything is stored. So first we have to cleanse it, which is chitta suddhi. So all the impressions, vasanas, have to be removed from the chitta. And then when you fill that container with only experience with the Lord, thoughts of the Lord. So all whatever you can remember is your experience with the Lord. Nothing else is put into the chitta. So the same vessel can be used for good as well as bad. So that's why emptying of the chittam is chitta suddhi. Then filling it up with devotion is the Bhagavad ayattamu. So that's the way I understand. But anyone else would like to?
It's not just about having thoughts of the Lord. It's that like you should not even have any other memory or impression except other than the Lord.
Exactly.
Then you have come to the world.
That's why they have used saturated, right? Mind need to be saturated. So that mean doesn't have any other thought. Only on him. Is saturated only on so his thought only. And for that, we shouldn't have any kind of body conscious. Dega Pranti. That's the way you can come to that mind can be saturated. If you have body attachment or any kind of things, then caste come, stage of life come, everything attached to body. So body need to be removed, then mind need to be focused on.
Body to be ignored.
Yeah, body conscious, yes.
Ignored.
What's it, Bhanti?
Body to be, sorry, body to be ignored.
Yeah, ignored, yes. The conscious,
Body
yeah.
not go. It will be there, but
Yeah.
we should not be
Yeah,
conscious.
that is something we need, but that body only give the attachment, desires, everything comes with that. So
We-
once you remove that conscious, then mind is there. Mind, as Brother Arnu said, if we keep it saturated to Swami only, the Lord only, then that is Ananya Bhakti, right? Then
intense love for the Lord.
yes.
I think that Swami is also in that bhava anyu anubhavinchi tirigi niki samshamu etla kaliginadi. English also. I am surprised after experiencing everything. How is this again coming?
Yeah.
So that means that experience filled his heart, but then there must have been some trace of some vasana. It's again poking itself.
He came back to that original position of a warrior. Warrior, war, family.
Thank you, Arno. Now it's clear. His vasana has come and confused him.
Yes, that's what it was.
At some point, is it that like even anything, any memory even that comes up in your chittam, like it's not that you will forget about everything that happens in your life, but maybe you'll everything, because we talked about how we should see every situation, that Swami is in every good and bad situation, just like how in the Vishwarupa there was a beautiful aspect and the ferocious aspect, and same with life situations. But even within our own mind and our own thoughts that are coming up from our vasanas, like, is it just coming to a point where, okay, the bad thoughts, the bad vasanas may come up, but we also recognize that that's also God?
Yeah. That's also God thought.
So your question is, without the Chitta Suddhi, can it be mature, immersed in God? I think that's the question. Will this clean everything else? Is the question, I think. Am I right, Kalyani?
Yeah, because I know I'm just finding it hard for me to imagine a state where I would just have no other memories except having memories of the Lord, unless it was through this way where maybe I have memories, but even those memories I somehow am able to perceive them as divine, even if
I will open it up for others to say, how do we know? Will it be okay? Yes, Brother Dasan.
No, it's okay. Well, just continue, brother.
No, I am just filling the gap.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, Siddham mean in, if your mind is very pure, that we can call as a Siddham. If you have the back home, we use just handkerchief. If the handkerchief is dirt, once you wash it, it's back to the normal. So we have the worldly attachment and everything. That is the way our mind is polluted. So if your thoughts comes, you have to ignore that one. People have many thoughts, worldly thoughts. Some people have sexual thoughts or anything. You have to ignore that one. Once you ignore that one, you have to know nothing is permanent. Your thoughts supposed to be towards the permanent one. That's what we have to use the viveka. What is our purpose of a life? If you started to ignore unwanted things and everything, sometimes you may like some kind of food. So if your mind's supposed to be not to give some priority. If you started to ignore, then eventually you will adapt to that one. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Anyone else would?
Saramana, can you hear me, Anna?
Yes, please.
So I was just going to say that the past cannot be changed, but the way I look at the past can be changed. So in terms of what has happened in the past, it stays as memories, which also leads to the vasanas aspect. All of it prior to embracing what is being said now, I would look at it as impure, good or bad. That differentiation would come in. But as I move into a stage of Ananya Bhakti, where I continuously focus my mind on God, and any thought, word, and deed that comes gets channelized to God. Now, whatever, because as long as the mind exists, duality exists. So that is where good and bad, right or wrong, all those exist. But when I make it Ananya, what it's also trying to do, it is by that Ekachittam, it is leading to a one-pointed state where only God remains. And in that process, duality vanishes. And even as I continue to look at my past, that remains the same, but it doesn't trouble me any longer. That is where it stops being a vasana, because I am, to make a pun, it's like I'm in my asana. I'm in a steady state where I am not fluctuating. I am the Teka-chitta. I am focused on the Lord. It's the Lord and Lord alone, which takes away all of that in the way. Nothing troubles me because what remains is the Lord. So it is like the many thoughts to one, many to one and one to none. So in the going from many thoughts to that one thought, it is that thought of Swami which keeps guiding my way along. And finally, when that snaps, so no longer anything remains, or that state of individuality, everything vanishes. But to answer to your question, sister, it is more about the past remains the same, but the way I look at it changes.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Anyone else? Kalyani, I'm reminded of a shloka called Yakundentu Dushara Karadav. Okay? The last line in that, Nishesha Jatyabha. That means without any remainder, Nishesha, without any trace. So Swami, there are many discourses where he says there are a few things where there should not be any shesham. You know, if you have some remainder, it will again come back to haunt. Swami says fire should be put out completely. If there's an ember, again it will catch fire. If you have a debt, it should be completely wiped clean, otherwise interest will build up. You know, things like that. So ignorance is also of the same kind. So the thing is, that's why sadhana path is a long exercise, because we have to continuously clean the vasanas, because as Arjuna has demonstrated here in front of us, even though he had the Vishwarupa Darshana, some trace of some vasana, some body attachment somehow slips in. So, but the thing is, effort, you know, Krishna, that's when in the Bhakti Yoga, he's telling, Abhyasa, practice, you know. So until we get to that point, we have to keep on cleansing our heart through various sadhanas. It's the way. And so we can't just imagine that, of course, God in his own ultimate grace, he can change things, but that is in his hands. But I think from our point of view, I think we have to continuously, vigilantly cleanse the vasanas, because you think we have gotten over something, but then after some time, suddenly it shows up. We will say, oh, I thought we have mastered this, and how come this is coming up again? I think all of us encounter situations like that because some trace of that vasana is still there. But it can only be removed by thought of thinking of God again and again, offering everything to the Lord. So all sadhana is aimed at Chittasuddhi. That's, I think we have Vyavasa Migabuddhi. You know, I think we have already covered this. You know, should all the weeds be removed before you plant the crop? Okay, you know, no farmer will. You know, even you have to keep a vigilant eye to see when the weeds come. You have to pull them out. How much ever you think that. So that's the only way your harvest will be complete. So I think it's the same question. You know, can I overseed the grass and get rid of the weed? You know. The weed has to be pulled away. So I think vasanas have to be cleansed. That's my understanding. That's why the prayer to Saraswati, Nishesha Yatyavaka. Let my ignorance go without any trace. So it's all sadhana. Okay, so that's my understanding. Okay, thank you. Yes, Sister Aruna, you were.
Brother Sairam, that practice means you surrender all the time, every time when you do things, in order to see there is nothing is affecting you. That is only with the as I said, with a steady faith only you can develop that kind of. So practice is a surrender. I think that's the way I look at it. Thank you, Saira.
I also want to just point out, Krishna is saying, Yajna Yagas don't help. Okay. So the thing is, many people think, oh, the Yajna Yaga, Swami has said, bhajan also doesn't help, charity also doesn't help. So people think they have to give up. They can give that up without any problem because that's not needed. But they don't realize that they are essential practices for Chitta Suddhi. Through them, we attain Chitta Suddhi. But that alone is not good enough because we fill it with God also. Yes, Sitaram.
Sai Ramana. Very nice discussion and great questions. One thought that was running in my mind is, as you read that line, for those who have fixed their minds on God, right? So Swami didn't stop there. Swami defined who is God there. So all this while we are focusing on what we should do with our mind, but I think in in the current times we have too many gods also. So I think it is very important for us to first fix who is our God, and then start diverting or minimizing our mind size towards that God, rather than having multiple gods in place. And we know the definition of God, and we know who is the at least fixed on one name and form is what I was thinking as I was reading that line. Otherwise, Swami would have told God. And in those times also they had many gods, right? Like Kauravas had their god as Shakuni, unfortunately. So in every yuga there are several forms of God, but which part of God, which side of the God are you catching on, is something which is very important before fixing our mind on something else. Saira.
Thank you, Sitaram. So I think you're talking about Ananya Bhakti, having devotion to without on one form and one name.
Yes.
And I think you are referring to the Nirmalam, all that, no?
Yes,
Satya,
yes.
Nitya, Nirmala.
Yes.
Definition is thing.
Not just that, like I'm adding a little more context to that is, I think we have Sathya Sai Baba in also various forms now, in Sukshma Sharira and various other things that are like we are hearing every day, and organizations also taking different forms. So what are you latching on to is very important. Be aware of what we are latching onto is also something which as devotees we should be cautious about.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Uncle, I think
Sorry.
Sorry, go ahead. Auntie.
No, Kalyani. I just wanted to add only one word. That's why Swami said steady faith. So that's why that.
Shraddha, yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
I think I asked you this before, but here Swami uses Chitta Shuddhi at first and then later Antakarana Shuddhi. Can we take both are the same, right?
I think Swami seems to have used them synonymously. Yes, Auntie, what do you think?
Antakarana Shuddhi and Chitta Shuddhi same. Antakarana has that Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. It's one of the components of the Antakarana.
And sorry, that line about Varnas do not become, that's Swami saying they do not become obstacles, is that right?
Yes, they are not obstacles.
So even though Swami is saying for those without Deha Bhranti, there's no difference between ashrama, varna, or gender, but still, so I guess Swami's, saying that we should still, like, it's not, does not mean we disregard those things. We still follow them in society. But I guess internally there's no difference. Is that the message?
I think, but in general, no, we all think, we could have been in somebody else's shoe. That may have given us something better. That type of feeling people have. I think, maybe I should have born as a Brahmana. I should have learned the Vedam. I should have been able to do this yajna. Varieties of things which we are unable to master or gain. We think they are the reasons why we are not progressing. I think that's why Swami is saying, wherever you are, whatever stage you are in, it is possible for you to reach God if only your mind is engrossed in the Lord at all time and you work on Chitta Suddhi. So he's saying that is the most important thing, and that's accessible to everyone, whatever the gender, whatever the stage of life, and whatever varna they belong to. I think that's, I don't know whether I answered your question or confused.
Yeah, so like a person who has Ananya Bhakti, for example, they would still be following their ashrama, varna, and all that stuff.
I think that's what I understood. But anyone else, please go ahead. Auntie, you wanted to say something, Auntie?
Which auntie?
Money Auntie. Money Auntie.
No, I don't want to say. It's very clear as you have described and explained.
Basically, Krishna is telling there are no excuses.
Okay.
Sister Anandi, please go ahead.
Sairam, I have maybe the little question. Maybe it could be a silly question, but it just emerged in my mind. We just discussed about removing the vasanas in order to get to that the Ananya state of mind, or the Siddha Shuddhi and the Shraddha and those things. The vasanas, always it would be bad, or there could be some good vasanas too. I understood the vasanas, it could be from whatever we have done in the past, that would be coming with us in the form of vasanas. It would always be bad vasanas, or is there any possibility to carry some good vasanas too? Because in the some people, the born prodigies and those things, they always say that they will carry whatever the skills, whatever the profession they have done in the past, it would be coming with them. That's why even in the very early stage, they will get all they will master that particular subject or something. That's why the removing the vasanas, constant practice to remove the vasanas. So is it maybe is it bad all the time, or whether there could be any good situation too?
Okay, thank you, sister. Good question. So Sister Anand is asking, should we clean the good vasanas also? That's the question. Are they also impediments? And if vasanas are coming along, so how do we deal with the good vasanas, and what is their role in this whole process of removing all the vasanas? I will just open it up to discussion.
So Saram brother, so the vasanas, we don't want to have good or bad vasanas. It's supposed to be a roasted seed. Then that is the Ananya Bhakti, that full of your mind is only the Lord only there. It's like a copra. It's like how that coconut is changed to copra, and it won't, you cannot make that to grow again. Roasted seed also same thing. So there is no way that good vasana or bad vasana is going to be there. This is the way that you can reach to the Lord. Thank you, Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Sister, you have to roast the whole thing. But I know this topic has been discussed in Sandeha Nivarani also by Swami, because I think see, we discussed this topic actually we said tamasic vasanas have to be overcome by rajasic ones. Okay, and the rajasic ones have to be overcome by sattvic ones. And once our chittam is full of sattvic ones, it's easy to replace. And Swami also used the word avidya maya and vidya maya. Avidya maya is ignorant maya, but form worship, guna, saguna upasana, all that, even worship of any kind, any sadhana which we perform, falls under the topic of vidya maya. They are maya, but they are full of vidya, the knowledge of God. So what happens is they're easy to give up, and they will naturally fall off when the Lord comes, and they will actually facilitate us. It's a segue into Ananya Bhakti, is what I understand, sister. It's like, if you have some dirt you're trying to clean a pot, you use some dishwashing liquid. Of course, sometimes we let the dishwasher do all the job, but dishwashing liquid, but we have to wash off the dishwashing liquid also. So I think then only it's completely clean and fit to be used for cooking.
Another example is putting that kataka seed into dirty water. Dirt settles down, and the pure water comes up. So that way, all the bad vasanas can be sublimated. It can go down, and then it can, but it should not be suppressed. It should be completely sublimated and then replaced by good thoughts, good vasanas. That's how Swami also explains. Saira.
Thank you.
Uncle, in that conversation, did we say that good vasanas don't sprout again? Because I'm also a bit confused, because then I thought we said that good vasanas do help us in the next life. And
yeah,
they help. They help, like Krishna, I think in the Bhagavad Gita also is telling good vasanas will grant you a birth in a more conducive environment. Correct. Where you can continue your sadhana. So good vasanas have a role to play in our progress. But at some point they will be given up, but I think it will become a natural phenomenon at that. Then it becomes urva rukamiva bandhanat. With tamasic vasanas and rajasic vasanas, we will not detach naturally. But with this, you will become naturally detached from everything. So that's.
Just adding to your example, another example is usually we say of the thorn, we use one thorn to remove the other thorn. So the good vasana is the thorn that is used to remove the bad vasanas. But ultimately, we have to throw away the thorn that we have used to remove this thorn also. We have to throw away the good vasanas as well, so that we are in a state of completely being in this. So we won't say, because I used this thorn to remove the other thorn, I will keep it. We discard the other thorn as well, knowing fully well that it was the good vasana which got us to the stage of removing all the bad vasanas.
Thank you.
Is that some?
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Auntie. Go ahead, Auntie.
So how would we know that we have to throw the good thorn? We don't have any bad thorns. That's why we are ready to throw away the good thorns. So up until then, we have to keep that good thorn too. But maybe unless otherwise God help us, to indicate, okay, you are ready to merge, or you are ready to be in that stage. That's why you don't need anything else. How would we know that? At this point in time, we have to even throw that thrown to maybe practically I thought we would take yuhas, I don't know how many yuhas, we would have, come through several births to this stage. And maybe in future also, we would have gone through several births. So unless otherwise, if there is an indication only, we would know that we have to we have
Brother,
to leave everything, the good vasanas and the bad vasanas and everything at that stage, we wouldn't know easily unless otherwise there is a good grace to tell us, maybe practically I thought, how to deal with that in the situation. Thank you, Sarah.
thank you, sister. So Sister Anand is asking Sai Satish when to throw their thorn, Sai Satish.
Yes, and how to become thorn free, right? So, so the thing is, when we have the thorn with us, the bad vasana, that means we will have the pain. They'll keep pricking us. We will have pain, we'll have suffering, we'll have doubt, and all of those kind of things. So when we have reached a stage, so this good thorn for us, good vasana, is the ekachitta, where every time this prick comes in our feet with that bad thorn, we go back to the Lord. We go back to the Lord using the good thorn. Till such time the prick keeps coming of pain, and the same thing, Jaya, like the whole thing of happiness, sukha dukkhe samikritva, the same thing, labha labho jaya jaya. So every time the prick comes, that means we haven't got rid of all the thorns that are still stuck on our feet. The moment when we know when we have to give up the good thorn, that means there are no more bad thorns stuck on our feet. That is one thing. So no more pricks. And second thing, when we have that ekachittam and only the ekachittam and completely prick free, that means we have reached that level where even the good thorn can be now discarded, because there is nothing else that gives us a prick, because we are completely suffused with the thought of the Lord. And then you don't have to even throw away the good thorn, sister. The good thorn will automatically drop off, because there is no more pricks that are coming from life. I hope I have, some little thing of what I know. Thank you.
Thank you, Sai Satish. Thank you. Brother Dasan.
Yeah, Sairam brother, I'm also looking in a different angle. So we have to know that Atma is above three gunas. So we are looking from our naked eye, everything, even from the mind too. But we forget to look inner self, the self-realization. Once you attain the self-realization, the Advaita stage, then you are in the mukti. Then while you are living, and you can experience that time, you are above the three gunas. Thank you. Sai Ram brother.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. Sister, I think the question I think is, how will we know that we have reached that Advaita stage?
Yeah. Once you understand the self-realization, who you are, that time you don't have the three gunas. So there are people lived in that stage. So that time you don't need to think about you are above the three gunas. You are in that, you self-realize your Atma. You are merged into the Atma. You can that experience, you'll have it.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I think Sai Satish has also said, maybe I sort of echo that. The thorn, Sister Ananthi, you just hold on to it until God grabs it and throws it away. The thing is, in the reality, our body, as long as our body is there, the chance of the thorn is very high. Because until the last breath, a new bad vasana can creep in. So until when the body drops, all the thorns drop off. So I think they say, if somebody has, Brother Dasan was telling that about Nirvikalpa Samadhi, they generally say if you want someone who attains Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the body will drop within 20 days or something, 21 days. Because that is the proof. The body itself cannot stick. Because the body sticks only because of vasanas and karma. So generally, until our last breath, we have to hold on to the thorn. And when the body drops, the mind which held onto the thorn and the body, hand which held onto the thorn will also drop. That's all in the hands of God. That's another, I think in one of Swami's discourse, Swami says, when the river flows towards the ocean, at the last moment, it will not be able to, waters will not be able to enter the ocean apparently, until the ocean allows you to enter. So only when the ocean allows, the waters of the rivers can enter. Until then, it will be pushed back. And the river does not give up apparently. It will just try to go. But ultimately, God has to just open the door. And when you go in, then you have dropped everything else gone. So when the body drops, when the mind drops, the thorn drops. Until then, we have to hold on to the thorn. It's the way I understand. Sai Ram. Yes, Sister Aruna.
Brother, it's like when you come to a stage when you don't have any kind of emotional way of like there's no pain or happiness with any action. Is the one we can tell like that? The thorn to be thrown out, because when you don't have you are not in a, you don't see this is happy, this is not pain, kind of everything you are taking as it's something God is given, I had to deal with it, kind of that stage. That's the one you are referring to?
Sister, you have a baby, okay? You're trying to put the baby to sleep. You know, you may give the favorite toy, you know, teddy bear, which they hug. They will hug and hug the teddy bear and they fall asleep. When they fall asleep, the favorite teddy bear also falls. So our sattvic vasanas are like that. Hold on to them until you fall asleep. You won't even know that you dropped it.
It's gone. Okay, good.
So see, the problem is, mind is the one which is the trickster. He will come and say, look here, now you are self-realized. There are many people announcing, I have now realized myself. Now you come, I am going to help you. Okay. As soon as somebody makes that statement, then there is some problem. So it's like a baby declaring that I have slept now. Now, you know, all of you, it's like that. So the sattvic vasanas are like the teddy bear which a baby hugs. Until you fall asleep, you hug it. And when you're fallen asleep, the teddy bear falls off. Sai. Yes,
good. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Sai Ram, I think the example you gave about river and ocean, I think Swami also mentioned about that example, same example, where he says, ocean and river would have a tug of war where ocean will tell you are not me. You can enter me only when you become me. And river will keep fighting that I am your devotee, accept me. But it won't allow. As it starts fighting with ocean, slowly that salt also becomes part of the river also. So at some point, both the densities match, and that's when it is accepted as part of ocean. At that point of time, it is no more a river. It is one with ocean. So where is the existence of that, right? So I think all that falls in the line with what you're telling earlier.
I think, you know, we can see the example of Ananya Bhakti so much that, you know, we have lost track of time. You know, my time vasana came up and it's 4:34.
4:35.
So as you can see, I have not reached that stage yet.
So we all should,
all of you
we all are asleep.
We are all in this.
Let us all be awake now. Or should we go back to sleep now?
Okay, so we'll close the session.
Like those rivers.
Yes, Auntie?
We are all like those rivers, ready to join, but the ocean is not allowing us.
Okay, so I will close. A very nice discussion. I think lots of good takeaways for all of us. We'll close with Samasta Loka Saira. Om Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sairam everyone.
Hey, Sai Ram.
Thank you.
Sai Ram, Sai.